Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Merch Money. We have really missed everyone. 2 weeks feels like 2 years. I think it feels like it's been so long since the last episode. So anyway, today we have Amanda Balcazar on. So welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much. So we, once I found out Amanda was coming on this episode, I was like, we have to talk about Q4 because with FBA, anyone who's done Amazon FBA or private label or anything, like you're well into like, okay, what's my game plan going to be for Q4? And merch is a little different. You can wait a little bit longer, but I'm like, you know what? Let's just talk about it now. The earlier, the better. It's July, so the Christmas in July thing. I put up a wreath. So we're all festive here for July. I was going to put on one of those Santa hats, but I couldn't find it. It's packed away somewhere. But anyway, all right, well, let's go around and introduce ourselves. And just, we always started off with one thing that we're proud of this week. So Texas Amy, you want to start?
Sure. Okay. So I'm still riding the train that is known as Pop Sockets. They're selling really well for me so far. I love that I can be more artistic with them too. So it's just, I'm definitely thrilled about that.
Oh, Lily. Michelle?
Okay, well, I was just telling you ladies before we went on the air what my positive thing was, and that I have been uploading Pop Sockets. I haven't sold one yet, but I am not fussed about it because I'm still selling t-shirts. However, I'm really more excited with the Pop Sockets for Q4. I think they make a great stocking stuffer, and so I'm just going to keep uploading, and if they sell before Q4, hooray. But that's my big hope is that, so that's my positive thing is that even though I haven't sold any, I'm just going to keep listing.
Perfect. All right. Brianna?
Hey guys, Bree Greene, Merch Maverick. And let's see here. I had a busy week. I worked right through the holiday like it didn't happen. Pop Sockets, helping a few clients set up some software so that they can get their print-on-demand integration on. What else? And Redbubble. I'm going Redbubble crazy. So I've been talking about that all day.
That's why you have the red bow for Redbubble, right?
Yeah. Luna's at the age. What is that in your hair?
Oh my God! Already?
Yeah. Right?
Oh my gosh!
You went from princess to like tomboy overnight, but I did the same thing. So better buckle up.
Amy.
I'm Amy Nicholas, marketing mayhem girl, and I'm excited that tomorrow is my 50th episode of my print-on-demand Power Punch.
I'm so excited.
I had no idea I was going to make so many.
So awesome.
They are awesome.
Proud of myself for continuing.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
proud of you.
So proud.
And for everyone that tunes in, even the replay viewers, I'm going to give away something free and amazing and special. So.
Yay.
Make sure to watch.
Awesome.
We should give you something special. That's a lot of work.
Pop Socket for you.
Yeah.
I know. Well, thank you for doing it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great. I love doing them.
So, all right, Amanda.
Yeah, so this week, I've really started for the first year because it's coming right across to like the first year that we've been in. I've really tried, and it was actually from one of Amy's Power Punch episodes, really tried I say shiny objects a lot because I think that it's something it's really easy to be like, okay, I want to do this, somebody's successful over here, I want to try that. And it doesn't give you the opportunity to really focus and get really good at something. So I took a step back a couple months ago. I'm like, no, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. There's going to be seasons, I don't even know what the seasons are, within merch anyway. So with that, it's really coming right up to that time. And I've made a little bit of adjustment in our game plan because like you mentioned, Q4 is coming up and my time is going to be even more limited. because we're going to be pushing really hard with private label. And so I am really focused on building a team, and probably by team, I mean, at this point, it's probably there's going to be a designer and an illustrator. And I've been working here and there with some. And so I just started to refine my, I guess if you want to say systems or procedures with them. And that's just not my thing. So I'm pretty proud of that. So, and it's looking like that's going to be very important to doing that, you know, obviously communicating and just being able to have clear direction and not just always being like, oh yeah, I need to get them, you know, some research, because if I do it last minute, it's not going to be as good as if I, you know, plan a little bit ahead. So I'm getting more into that groove and it feels really good. So
awesome.
To that effect, Amanda, it's like, you have to almost work extra, like double the work in order to give your people work.
That's what I'm saying. It's so hard. It's so hard because, I mean, my husband and I have been working by ourselves for the past 12 years, like no employees, no nothing. The whole VA thing has just come about when we started with merch, you know, last August. And so that was kind of a new concept. And it's really like, okay, I'm going to sit here and explain to you how to do this for a few hours, or I can just do it in, you know, 10 minutes. That doesn't make any sense, but I need to get out of that mindset because yes, it might take a couple hours, but ultimately the goal is to get them to the point to where then it's not taking me any minutes. And of course you'll always still have to be involved, but that's the only way to scale. And just that just wasn't our mindset before. So, but you're absolutely right.
Are you formalizing your procedures for your VAs? Because my husband and I, we too work together. We are private label and RA, and we've been putting together our own standard operating procedures so that we can use them not only for our other branches but for VAs. Are you kind of doing the same thing? Are you formalizing that? And even you can do that with your merch procedures too for them. Are you actually doing that, or? Yeah,
so actually we just have VAs for merch right now. We don't have for private label. Yeah. So yes, I am. I'm started that. And for initially, you know, I think it was Cassie Basket that had mentioned it in one of the groups. And I know that I talked to her and she's worked with VAs a lot. And I started hearing that a little bit more like, yeah, you should have, you know, standard order procedures. And I'm like, okay, well, that's probably a good thing. We should probably take a step back and put that together. So absolutely, I've started that. I have not had like, I Googled it basically after they started talking about it a couple weeks ago because I'm like, there has to be a PDF or something to guide me step by step. And
there's a great program called sweetprocess.com.
What is that?
Sweet Process?
Sweet Process.
That's awesome. Michelle is like an expert with private label. Her and her husband, and with FBA in general.
Actually, it was Larissa Morales. It was actually Larissa Morales from who does wholesaling that turned me onto sweetprocess.com. And it's a subscription service that actually helps you organize your SOPs. And it's great because you can give it access to your VAs if you want.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's huge. Because I mean, that's the thing, like, you go in and you start training, you start working with somebody, you have to figure out, I mean, you don't get to see them directly, basically. So you have to figure out like their skill level, especially with design, it's all over the place. You know, is their specialty, you know, more just kind of, I would consider myself when I do it, I consider myself kind of like a hacker. I don't really illustrate. I just call myself a hacker because I can piece stuff together really well. So I'm like, okay, that. But yeah, with them, it's like you really have to figure out their strengths and weaknesses and then be able to utilize their strengths. That takes time. So at that point, it's like I don't have a lot of patience. I'm like, go, 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 go. So I'm like trying though. I'm like, at this point, if I can get a couple up to speed for Q4, that's all I need. Because right now it's a little bit of a lull, and this is the perfect time to really give a little bit of effort there so that when we're, you know, repping and roaring, you know, in Q4, then they're kind of on cruise control.
I was going to mention two, I guess, not really software, but two programs, two subscriptions that I use, which actually, excuse me, they have free options too. So you don't have to pay for any of them if you don't want. One that most people are kind of familiar with is Trello.
Yeah, we use Trello.
It's amazing for like following the flow of a process, like designs especially, and then dropping in a bunch of designers or writers or whoever you want, like working on, you know, like you can have where there's there's a team and here's their assignments, and then they pass it to this team, and now this team is working.
Right. That's more task oriented as opposed to doing general procedures that you can give to anybody. But yes, we use in our business too, we use Trello. That is a wonderful resource. Absolutely. It's great.
And here you are being tech savvy, Michelle.
I know.
That's tech. That's cool.
No, honestly, it's not tech savvy.
The other one too, I haven't had a lot of time to play with it yet, but it's more, I would say maybe like a good way to share a project with a big group of people. And I think it's called Tiki Taki, and it's like TIKI. TOKI, and it's like this awesome visual like timeline where you can like drop in, you know, like boom, document, boom, conversation, and then there's a document, and then you can span through this whole timeline of this project that you're all working on.
Never heard of that.
So,
awesome.
And that one's free too. So you'll have to. I haven't played with it much yet, but you'll have to check it out. Which when I write up the notes, I'll put the suggestions on there too. The websites.
I love the notes. Well, let's take a little pause for a second and just let me give a background for everything. So I did FBA since 2014. So for anybody watching, that means fulfillment by Amazon. So it means like sending in actual physical products to Amazon. And I know this is a merch show, but a lot of people do that. And then private label, what that is you're making your own brand. So you buy something generic, but then you label it with your own brand. And that's why it's called private label. So then you have your own listing on Amazon. Other people can't jump onto it. So it's important to start thinking about Q4 now, because for private label, you have to order it ahead of time, sometimes from China or somewhere far. Yep. FBA, you got to, and just like Michelle or somebody said, like, you got to really work on merch right now, because you might be really just completely tied up with shipping stuff and doing FBA and all of that. So you can't leave a lot of the merch preparation for the end, because you're going to be so tied up in other things. If you're like us.
I agree with that, because I want to try and get my slots filled by September.
Yeah.
Gotta go where the money is.
So Michelle, so Merch Mama has a business with her husband, and they have 3 different warehouses. They do Amazon FBA and some private label. Brianna does all of that. FBA, she does everything. eBay, everything. And then of course Amanda also. And then myself, I've really stepped away from doing FBA, but I feel like with Q4 and I'm hearing all the different YouTube channels and everything, I feel like there's no way I'm going to not be able to, like, I'm going to ship stuff in. I'm going to ship stuff in. Yeah. So, but the Amy's, you guys aren't in that, right?
No, I started with Kindle publishing and then went into the Shopify Facebook ads.
Yeah.
I did start with print on demand though with Shopify, and that was like 10 times as hard to do versus platforms like merch.
Yeah. Awesome. So, so marketing is one thing we can talk about with Q4, but I think first is just the preparation. Like, what are you guys starting to think about right now? Like, what are you thinking about for your FBA and private label businesses? And what are you thinking about for merch? Like, what is your game plan, you think, going forward?
I'm going hard on pop sockets personally, but for anybody who doesn't have that, I would suggest getting up your back to school, Halloween designs for shirts, and possibly some of them for the hoodies and sweatshirts. I would say now is the time to start uploading for hoodies and sweatshirts and long sleeves, because people are going to start buying end of July, August for back to school, especially for college kids. Like, I remember just when I was in college, like, people were going back to school shopping, like, you know, end of July, because they're going away somewhere, you know, so they're planning everything like weeks in advance. Maybe they're going to another state. So just keep that in mind, that even though it seems kind of hot right now and people wouldn't be wearing them, they're going to put them to college. Yeah, they're going to take them to college and they're going to wear them soon, you know.
And Prime Day is on July 16th. So there was a whole article I read about how that's kind of like starting to become the unofficial start to back to school is Prime Day. So all of like Walmart and everybody's going to be doing sales July 16th. So really, I mean, today's July 9th. So from now until July 16th, you really got to make sure all your back to school shirts are up. anything having to do with back to school.
I have a funny story about Prime Day. One of my guys that works for us was in a thrift store last weekend and found an Amazon Prime Day t-shirt for $1. So bought it. We have it hanging in our warehouse to remind everybody Prime Day is coming. Everybody gets
That's so crazy. I was going to say also, oh, sorry, Michelle.
That's okay. I said best dollar he spent.
I've actually, I've sold Halloween stuff already, and I've sold a Christmas shirt already. So it's never too early to think about these holidays at this point.
Absolutely.
No, and Amy and I both sold a Thanksgiving shirt the same day.
I was going to say Thanksgiving. It was just a couple weeks ago. I was like, Thanksgiving. Because, I mean, I guess Christmas in July, whatever. But, like, Thanksgiving's super weird. Like, you don't wear Thanksgiving in July. That's just...
That is kind of weird.
So a week ago, I sold 2 Mardi Gras shirts, which I thought, okay, you guys are like a day late and $1 short, but okay.
Honestly, Mardi Gras, I saw that year round.
I was saying maybe people have like personal parties.
Yeah,
that's true. Like themed parties around that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I think the stores are starting to decorate for Thanksgiving already and Halloween, like certain ones, Hobby Lobby, like certain one. I think Joe Clay, somebody posted about it where it was like, they felt like it was art. So I think people are seeing it already. And that's what's getting like having them think about it. And especially Prime Day, people just want a good deal. So they're going to be buying for all kinds of stuff. Some people are doing all their Christmas shopping on July 16th. So definitely get your stuff up there if you can. Like that's what I'm planning the next few days. Like just upload like crazy.
Do any of you plan on changing your pricing on your merch shirts for Prime Day, or are you leaving them as is? I'm just throwing that out there.
I got too many.
That's what I'm thinking. I have too many. But
honestly, I didn't see anything last year really. Like everybody was talking it up, but I really didn't see much going on that day. It was like the next day or I don't know.
I wasn't doing it last July.
It's a huge jump for FBA. I was doing merch last year, and I did have a bigger day than normal. It wasn't as big of a jump as FBA side, but there was. I mean, for me, there was a little bit of a jump. It's definitely more traffic, so logically, you should have an increase that day. You might not necessarily, but there will be a lot more people on Amazon that day than on a normal day.
That's what I'm curious about. Having had that merch Prime Day, I'm curious to see what it will do.
And did I read this correctly that Prime Day is actually going to be 3 days long?
I accidentally put 3 days and then immediately changed it. It's 36
hours. It was you that did it.
It was me.
Oh my goodness, you tripped me up.
I did it for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, wait, it's not 3 days, it's 36 hours. Somehow I read 36 hours, and somehow in my head that was 3 days. I don't know. But I changed it right away. But yeah, it's 36 hours.
That's how rumors get started.
I know. I was like, should I put a post about the mistake? And then I'm like, it was only a few minutes. I doubt anybody.
Everybody saw it.
And here I saw it, and I'm all just like, 3 days.
I think that would given us a fair shot at selling some merch shirts.
Right? It's like day 3. All the shirts are going to be discounted 10%. Get ready, guys.
Laura posted a really good tip in the chat. She said, did you guys see the post in Merch Success about putting your pop socket designs on Redbubble stickers? Super fast and easy.
Yes, I've been doing it all day. All day.
So are you like not adding the other products? You're just doing the stickers and then uploading?
No, right now that's what I've been doing today because it's that simple. Stickers do well for me on Redbubble anyway, and they're more graphic too, so it works. Yeah. And
what do you do for your margins with those?
150%.
Yeah, I was gonna say we jumped up pretty high. I'm like, we don't sell a ton of them, but we definitely. I'm like, I don't even like seeing those little sales. We sold some. We're like, what is that?
Like, royalty.
Yeah, I want to make at least $2-3 on them.
Yeah,
and people buy them. Like if it's cool enough, they'll buy them.
They'll buy it, right? Because I didn't really bother after last year Q4. I had a VA kind of uploading. I was like it was such a painful process to upload that I was just like, let's forget about it. Let's focus on Amazon, but if we were just doing stickers, then we could just turn everything else off and it would be very quick.
So that kind of leads into my next question. Are you guys preparing for Q4? Are you planning on having everything on all different platforms, or what are you focusing on in terms of platforms?
I'm going to be all over the place. I got integrations and software and things like hooked up in this like mega center of craziness. I'm not on all of them, obviously, but the big focus for me is merch, Etsy, Amazon Seller Central, because I have 2 brands back on there, which, and Amanda, I don't know if you have anything like that, but you would be able to shed probably a lot of light on the fact that print on demand and private label can meet together really, really well and allow you to have a brand on Amazon and fulfill it with pod, but it's still kind of like private labeling, kind of. So, yeah, those are like my big ones. And Redbubble and Zazzle, and I've got all the software, so all the compatible pods that the software is working on too. So, yeah, you got full scale assault.
Yay!
Yeah.
What about you, Amanda? What are you doing?
Well, so for, like I said, we actually stepped back a little bit from, okay, there's Etsy, there's this, there's that. And I'm really going to focus on, it doesn't mean that we won't do other stuff, because we're on Redbubble. We get sales here and there. We actually probably get 1 or 2 a day, I think. I mean, it's pretty good, but, the main focus, I want to focus on just merch and Etsy if I have additional time, because I know that I started actually, initially when we first started, we were just throwing everything up on Etsy. Didn't know anything about Etsy, but just like, whatever, we're just going crazy. We're just designs all over the place. And then I'm like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I want it to kind of learn a little bit more. I know it's a totally different platform. I know it has a different personality, and to maximize it, it's a little different flavor. There's different things that you have to do. So, I took the time and actually threw up, I think I probably only have like 9 or 10 designs in one niche, and they were selling better than when we were throwing up all of our designs and everything. So I'm just going to be niche focused. I'm going to pick a couple of our strong niches, make a couple of stores on there, and give those ones a little bit of love. And I think for Q4, it's going to be really good. So yeah, just merch and Etsy really is my game plan right now.
Nice. For me, last year I had the idea of being everywhere. And to be honest, I look back and think I scattered my efforts too much. I appreciate people like Bree that are able to just like go everywhere and like do it all with gusto. But I look back and I think, man, if I had really hardened myself to doing like just hardcore merch, if I had been brave enough to put a little bit more on Etsy, we did quite a bit like uploads on Etsy since like last September through Q4. But now I'm looking at it like, where's my focus? Where's the money really going to be made? I'm seeing merch, and then Etsy is starting to come up already as like a close contender. Not quite close to merch, but it's getting there. And I'm like, well, there's my answer, like, just like Amanda said. I mean, I'm like, go where the money is, because I have a certain amount of resources I can use for VAs. I don't want them like over here and over here and over here. And I certainly don't want to put all this stuff on my plate. I mean, I'm the project manager. I don't want to be the upload task, person and shoot myself in the head because I'm so bored. So that's just my thoughts and the lessons I learned from last year, which was very beneficial. I mean, it was amazing, just like sales just flying in the door. It felt like, compared to some days, in June and July, you're just like, you're like listening for a sale. You're like, is that one? No, that's just my phone. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
You just gotta roll with it. But that's kind of where I'm at.
I mean, I don't know where everybody else's sales are at the moment anyways, but I did whine a little bit, and Ken Real popped in and he's like, yep, welcome to July. So I'm like, all right.
Even the big dogs.
Okay. I'm sure he's still crushing it, but not as good as the other months. So all right, we'll take it with July. Like I said, focus on getting some systems in place and get up to speed for that Q4.
Yeah, for me, I just want to get the point across to everyone watching, like, don't let it discourage you at all. Like, just upload as fast as you can, because fourth quarter starts. It really starts on the 16th. Like it really does. So really get stuff up there and just go as fast as you can because we're almost we got to start now to make sure you really can capitalize on Q4.
And I think we also need to note that for the procrastinators, you know, when you're uploading for Q4, I would also say put it at the price you want, because for the people who are new to merch, don't know about the point in December where you can no longer edit.
Yeah.
You can't change those prices. You can't change anything. You're like, oh crap, I could have gone up a few more bucks because it's selling. You know, those are all the things that, those are all the lessons that you learn when you go through it. And I think so. If my advice to the newbies who are going into Q4 for the first time on merch is get it up there and get it at the price that you want it at for Q4, because once Amazon, and I want to say, and I could be wrong, ladies, but was it December 5th when you could no longer change the prices?
I think it was the 7th. Or was it the 5th? Okay. I knew it was the first week.
But it was like ingrained in my head, and it's funny because I talk with some people and I'm like, listen, I'm like, dude, let's just go on a trip. Let's plan the trip around the freeze to a very nice area. We just like, screw the freeze. We don't even care because we already planned it. I'm not uploading in the Bahamas. Let's just plan and go. So I think we might do that. I think
it's so funny that you guys remember the exact date. Like,
it happened during the live Jersey show. Wasn't it Jersey Empire? If anybody was watching that day, it literally happened during the show. And someone was like, I can't upload, and we were like, no.
I was new, having started in August, so I had no idea. And I'm like, what is going on?
I heard the rumors.
Yeah,
I heard the rumors for sure.
Yeah. So guys, for those of you that don't know, the last couple of years, Amazon freezes. So that's what, if you hear the word freeze, it's because they just stop everything. You can't upload, you can't edit, you can't do anything.
And changing the prices.
Yeah. So we don't know if they're going to do that again this year. We're just speculating because they've done it the last few years. So.
And another thing to keep in mind too, because you're froze well into January. It's like January, the first week or second week.
First or second. Yeah, I think it was the second week last year.
But one thing I noticed last year during the freeze, Amazon was going in and reviewing people's accounts manually. So if you were, you know, infringing or doing any shady stuff, you were finding yourself terminated in February. So now's a good time to clean up our accounts too.
Good point, Amy.
Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, and so be careful if you are trying to upload so many shirts and you start trying to have other people do it for you, because Amazon looks at your IP address. So if you have people in other countries, or you have people like more than one person at a time logging into your account in different areas, that also puts a red flag out there. And
yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, and they don't play. They don't care. I mean, Christine says it well. They have no emotion in this. So, you know, if you're not going to play by their rules, they don't care. They'll cut you. So,
Amy Herberger said in a post one time that it just really stuck with me. She was like, if Amazon decided to do a manual review of your account tonight, would you get any sleep? And I was like, ooh, that's a good point. That's a good way of looking at it, you know?
And I think as merchers going into Q4, everyone needs to ask themselves that, you know, because sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know, this might be good.
And, you know, it's quick cash, but you're not even guaranteed to get that. If Amazon thinks that, like, the World Cup stuff, the Imagine Dragons, all this is going on right now, and you think you're watching your sale numbers rise like crazy, you're not going to get that money if Amazon thinks that you're playing against their rules. So.
They have been known to withhold.
Oh yeah.
Same goes for keyword stuffing too. Some people are getting in trouble for keyword stuffing, not making your bullets into a readable, speakable sentence, just keyword stuffing. That was another thing I remember in February when people were getting their accounts in trouble. That was another thing people were caught doing. So just, you know, if you're new and you're going into this Q4 for your first time, just be aware of those rules and follow them.
Absolutely.
As the mama speaks.
Printsy asked, like, she's traveling. What about the IP issues while you're traveling and working? I don't think that's a problem, right?
No, honestly, it wouldn't. What Amazon is smart. They're
very smart.
If you're logging in Florida, and then 5 minutes later you're logging in the Philippines, And then 5 minutes later, you're over, we'll say the Bahamas. I mean, Amazon's going to be like, okay, no.
Yeah.
But
there's reasonable gaps of time.
I travel, I go all over, you know, well, granted, Texas, which is pretty much its own country anyway.
It really is.
It's huge.
It's freaking
I've
huge.
never had any problems. You know, just don't do any shady stuff.
Right.
I wouldn't worry
think
about
this is
it.
a legitimate, like, oh my gosh, can I log in here? Because I've definitely been on some, you know, shady hotel Wi-Fi before trying to upload.
So for the people that are doing Amazon FBA and private label, are you guys going to keep working on merch all the way through, or are you going to take a month or two off of merch and just focus on the other things, or what is your plan?
I mean, well, kind of for me, like I said, I that's kind of why I'm looking at it right now is kind of lightening that load a little bit with having the designers and you know, just refining our systems that way so that when it does come, that we're not totally, you know, pushing it aside. I definitely want to continue to be active, whether it's, you know, dropping it down a little bit. Maybe we'll do it, you know, a little less of a time or whatever. But I think that's one of the coolest parts about merch and doing other businesses as well, is that if you have to, yes, you could push it aside. Like recently, you know, we just went really hard into, you know, sourcing a new product, developing it, and working to launch a private label. It's been very new. It's you know, that's quite a process, and it's very, you know, labor intensive and focused in the beginning. And so we were able to kind of, you know, push merch aside a little bit. I mean, we were still in the mix. We're still, you know, creating designs and putting stuff up. It just wasn't at the volume that it was before. And I think with that, it was just a nice, lesson or whatever you want to say for me to realize that, hey, in Q4, my efforts are going to be not being able to be as much as merch. So I need to try and figure out a way to make sure that I can still stay up on that. Because I think it's really important. I think it's an amazing, you know, business, amazing opportunity. I want to fill as many slots. And I mean, that was just our goal, is just continue to max out as much as possible. And last year it was really crazy because we had limited uploads. I mean, it was so much different. Now it's like, oh, well, you have 500 a day. And it's like, okay, well, you know, some days you don't do more. Before it was like, you are uploading, you know, 7 days a week because you don't want to miss, because you never know when they're going to drop you down. You never know when they're going to freeze. You never know when it's going to stop. And then all of a sudden you have 500 and you're like, holy smokes. But I mean, that's the thing. Just don't take it for granted. I mean, I don't know if they're going to drop it down. Who knows if it gets to a point and they review, because they're very data driven. They can review what's going on and say, you know what, our efforts are better if we're going to, you know, lower the uploads, and maybe they think that that's going to be higher quality that they're going to get. Who knows? Or maybe they let additional people in and they don't have the capacity to review, or any, regardless, just don't take it for granted, because I mean, it can change, you know, quickly. So whatever you're doing now is definitely the time to be pushing for, you know, being able to fill as many slots as you can for Q4.
I forgot about
Absolutely.
that. They did lower our daily uploads.
Right when I started, actually, like right when I got ramped up, it was literally the next day, like, and it dropped down to 2. I'm like, what am I gonna do with 2 uploads a day? I'm all fired up about this damn program. Like, I was like, yes, we're going hard. I'm like, 2 a day. Yeah. They did increase it back up a little bit, but I was like, at that point, like, you have got to tear up. I'm like, no, I need more uploads. I need more slots.
Yeah, I told myself I was going to take a vacation come January and just forget about print on demand for like a month.
January is like
a drop.
the best time to take a vacation.
And that's how you're going so hard before then, you know. And your
I met Michelle at the Unconference, and that's in February. It's kind of the same kind of thing where it's a slow time of year. It was perfect. So hopefully I can do the same thing again this year. That was.
You know, for the month of June, I'm going to be very honest. I didn't really upload very much because I had 2 conferences and a vacation thrown in. So while some shirts fell off, it was kind of nice to still get daily sales without having to upload. Like, it was kept, I mean, you know what I mean? So I think if it's not in Q4, you can take a vacation, I think, at any time. Just saying, you know. I was like, oh, yay, I got sales. You know?
Even if it is Q4, because the difference between FBA is like, you have to get those boxes in because the actual product is selling. With this, it's like we can put them all in right now in July. It'll still be there in December. It's not like the shirt's going to disappear or be sold out or whatever. Like
that's what's so great about the 6-month fall off.
Yeah.
It's going to take, you upload those Christmas now, it's there through Christmas.
Yep. Yeah.
Christmas in July.
Yeah,
Christmas in July, guys. I've got my prop.
I don't even have any Christmas like themed shirts. I take it back. I have like one, but it was kind of tight on me last year, so I don't know.
I had a bunch of Christmas shirts. Well, I wouldn't say a bunch. I had a good amount though, and only a few of them sold, of course, with the throttling and everything. But nobody's buying Christmas shirts. They're buying evergreen shirts for gifts.
Yeah.
So.
That is true. I've seen a lot of people wasting time on Christmas.
October was when I started selling Christmas shirts. Like I remember uploading Christmas in August last year, because when I started, August. And then starting in October was when I started selling Christmas. And I'm like, wow, this is really kind of cool that it's 2 months. So while they don't buy them for Christmas presents, I do think people do buy them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think also there's just only a certain amount you can upload per day. Like unless if you're uploading yourself, which you're supposed to be doing, like there's only a certain amount you can do. So I feel like you got to find a way to have some kind of urgency right now. And it's really hard because it's
nice
slow time of year. It's nice outside. It's vacations. Like it's
I just talked about that. You were watching my show.
Very hard. No, I don't know, but I just know from FBA, it's like it's really hard to be like, okay, it's Q4 time. Like I gotta start.
Do you know what I did last August when I started merch, and everyone was saying then to upload Christmas? I was playing Christmas music.
Yeah, you have to do something like that. Or what I did is I would type in Q4 in YouTube and I would listen to all the Q4 videos of everybody around like October, November from the year before.
You have to live it like now.
It's like they were so like energetic and being like, oh my God, I stayed up till 2 in the morning. And then it would get me thinking like, okay, I got to do another box. So it's the same with merch shirts. It's like, I mean, I don't even know how many I can do, but I get bored or I start going slow or like, I mean, you can't do, at least for me, I can't do hundreds and hundreds a day. Like I can only, I don't know, maybe 100. And then I just,
your brain is
So it's like you got to start now so you can do your 50 a day or whatever consistently.
Yeah.
Because if you wait until like you're in a rush and you think you can do 200 or 400 or whatever, you might be able to, but you're not gonna be able to do it more than one day in a row. Like it's just too much. So you got to start now.
I'm gonna put my tree up tonight because you have your
Yeah.
Well, there's no reason everyone can't take a laptop, go sit out on your deck.
Yeah.
You're right.
Get to work.
Once you've got the designs done, just upload and,
Yeah.
And even if you're only doing like a handful a day too, I mean, that counts.
It adds up.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged by those big numbers. Like, oh my gosh, I have to, you'll burn yourself up. If you can only do 5 a day, do those 5.
Yeah.
So,
The compound effect.
Yeah.
This is my prop to emphasize the compound effect.
Perfect.
I got all the good books right next to me here.
Yeah, because if you can only do 5 a day, it's not like all of a sudden you're going to be able to do 300 a day in November. Like it's just not going to happen. You might, if you're in a rush, it adds up. So yeah, just start now is what I'm saying. It's like, because it adds up. Even if you did 1 a day.
Ken Reel had said at the Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference, he had said, listen, if you have 400 uploads a day, you don't need to do all 400. Just make sure you have the quality. So if you're starting now for Q4 and you're overwhelmed with how many slots you got to fill, like it's like you guys said, even if you do 5 quality shirts a day, it is going to add up. Don't, like you said, don't get so stressed out about.
Yeah.
And one of those 5 shirts can go on to sell hundreds of times in Q4.
Right.
So that's the other nice thing about merch. It really only takes a couple of shirts to really make a big difference. So
yeah, absolutely.
Agreed. And I would suggest too, like people finding people that they can follow who really know what they're talking about. And I will point out. I want to point out Alicia Springer because she knows design, and I'm like, if I want to step up my game, I need to step up what I'm getting back for designs, you know. And I heard RJ talking about this on his YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, some of them just really aren't up to quality, right? I mean, we all know ugly designs can sell, but let's be honest, where is merch going, right? It's more towards the quality and less towards the clip art, right?
Right.
So find somebody that, you know, maybe would be willing to share a few tips, you know. Obviously don't hog them for their time or anything, but maybe somebody you can reach out to in a group or in Messenger. Like, seriously, guys, I've built some like really awesome relationships by talking to people you wouldn't think were even accessible. And I just reached out and said, hey, this is me. I really love your podcast, your YouTube show, your Facebook group. You know, you're awesome. Like, talk them up and say why you like them. So at least they're receptive to like listening to you. And then maybe you ask a question, you know, and don't bug them all the time.
And to add on that too, practice. Just, you know, start where you are and just do a little bit every day. If designing is what you need to learn more about or whatever, just practice. And eventually you'll see that add up and pay off too.
I think you do really well, Amy, because you enjoy it.
Yes.
So
and
that's a big
important.
part.
I mean, anytime you enjoy what you're doing, you're going to want to improve. You're going to strive to get better, and you're just going to enjoy the whole process. So
exactly.
Yeah, and it is fun. I do enjoy that. So I just love merch.
Yay!
I just love merch.
I do. It's my BFF forever.
Aw. So, well, another thing that you guys have been working on is the Merch Girl Boss page. Do you guys want to talk about that, Amanda and Amy?
Well, I believe I've popped in like our chat thread and stuff with like the admins and mods, and I believe that the genius behind that was Miss Amy right here, so she can probably start talking about that.
Okay, so Amy Herberger thinks that our show is incredible, and she didn't want it to just stay in the group. So she's like, well, maybe are you guys thinking about going with YouTube or this, that, and the other thing? And the other mods were like, well, we don't really have a lot of time to realize how to run a channel. I mean, I don't have a clue. I know I just pop up here on Monday nights, but that's about as much as I know about it. And I'm sitting there, and then I'm sure y'all are aware of Merch After Dark. Well, their program, they do theirs through a Facebook group or Facebook page rather. So I'm like, hey, let's do it on a page. It just seemed easier. Nobody has to learn anything extra, and we can just pop on in there, and it's open to everybody. So that was the mind or the brain behind that. So
keep it simple, stupid, right?
Keep it simple.
I love that
stupid.
idea.
And
I was so happy.
And Amanda does great. You know, she is. I don't know. It's easy to talk to her. So
I was gonna say, yeah, there's definitely a good. I don't even know how that happened. It was super random. We were just like, it was like one morning we were just blowing up like our message thread, and we're like, okay, well, let's do it. Let's put it together. And then all of a sudden it was like, you know, a couple days later, like, okay, we're gonna do our first one, and it flowed nicely. And I don't even think we had never even talked really.
No, we talked a little bit in the admin chat, but that was about it. And you know, Amy was just like, I think you guys will jive well. Well, she was right. So
good. It just seems really natural, so it's fun. It's kind of like you guys do a great job of your jiving as well. So I mean, I just think that's just a great mix.
And I think what all that has to do with Merch Money, with Girl Boss, with RJ's show, all of them, it's because we enjoy merch and we like to talk about it and we care about the community, and it just translates easy. I think it's a really cool community what we have. All of
for
us.
Sure.
I like that everyone's supportive in the community. I think that's the big thing. Rah somebody when you see a newbie getting their first organic sale or something like that, or you know, somebody teared up. You're genuinely happy for that person.
Yeah,
like
because you remember. Yeah.
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 You know?
I have to give a shout out to Helen because I feel like she culminated this like triage, this like spider web of people starting all these projects. And, you know, like, I'm like, if she hadn't reached out and asked me to be a part of this, I wouldn't have started my show. I would have just kind of been like lurking around doing my thing. Like, you know, she was like, post your show in the group. I'm like, oh, I'm too shy.
Aw, thank you, Amy.
I I think without Helen, I wouldn't have been able to meet all you great ladies. I mean, I was lucky to be seated next to Helen in a restaurant. The two gluten-free girls. And we,
oh, you guys are so nice.
you know?
But yeah, I really, somebody said something like, oh, Amy said that she just decided to reach out to these people and she didn't think that they would be accessible, but you messaged them anyway. And that's how I did. Like, I told the story on Stephen Peterson's podcast, which Michelle helped me get that. Thank you. But anyway, I thought, like, I literally made a list of 30 people and I was not that active in the Facebook groups. Like I was more one of those people that just was working all the time and just like observed, but I didn't really talk that much. So I was like, I can't just randomly reach out to these people who have no idea who I am. So I made like a list of 30 people because I thought everybody would be like, I don't know who you are. Like, why are you messaging me? And so that I started with the people that I had talked to at least once. And literally, like, I had talked, I mean, they all know, like, I had talked to them once. So, and it worked out. Like, I did a message to 7 people because I was like, there's no way more than one out of these 7 people are going to say yes. And all 7 said yes. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done? So then I was just like, are we going to split it up and do like 2 shows a week? Like, how is this going to work? And then 2 of the girls ended up being too busy and they couldn't do it. And I'm like, well, I guess we're having a show with 5 people. Originally, I thought it'd be 3. So but anyway, it's been fun. And I mean, don't be afraid. Like and I was talking to Jonathan Cleater about this. I was like, if I'm on TV, I mean, people look at it like it's on TV. Like now all of a sudden you're this genius person. And it's like, I'm just a regular person who's been working really hard since 2014. So if you're also a person who's been working really hard, like don't be afraid to reach out to people. You probably know more than you think you do, and you'll be able to help. So
I think that's probably one of the most important things that a lot of people need to take in with what you just said there, especially because a lot of times when they're just starting out, it's like very easy to get discouraged and you're on this path and you're learning. And it really wasn't until I got around other people and other sellers and seeing people do well, but then also understanding, hey, they're just normal people too. They're not geniuses. Like everybody like, what's the secret? You know what? They're just hard workers. And yeah, they've built over time because A, they're consistent at stuff. B, is everybody bringing a little bit of a different skill set? Absolutely. But it's not just the rock star designers that are doing this. It's just people that are determined to get better and grow and learn from other people and be humble a little bit in the beginning, but also persevere, because there's going to be times when you're going to look at this and you're going to be like, no, this isn't worth it. You know, like I see sales, like you said, I see sales dropped. And for some reason, I don't know if it's because, you know, we've been entrepreneurs, you know, on our own for the past 12 years, but that really, you know, pushes me more now, because I know that if I utilize that and I push harder, then again, Q4 or whatever is going to come, it's going to be that much better. But if I just sit back and I'm like, oh, well, you know, and doubt myself, then that doesn't help anything. So I think that was really important. That was a great point.
And that's what you brought up, Amanda, because I noticed too, I see like a lot of postings of new people going, hey, so I'm new to merch. How do I get a great selling design? And hey, what niches sell well? Well, if we all knew that, we would all be
millionaires. We'd not be on Facebook. Okay.
Right. I feel like I'm just trying to figure it out too, you know?
And I just tell people research, and it's trial and error. And none of us, I think I did a post on this on our page, like none of us can say to you, this is what sells, because everyone designs differently. Everyone has, you know what I mean? You have to just research and persevere and trial and error. And if it doesn't work, throw it out. I think it was Brianna that said in our last show, don't be married to your designs. If they stink, get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the key to success. You can't go into and say, oh, hey, by the way, Amy, what niche sells? You can't do that.
Tell me all your secrets.
Yeah, you can't do that. So I'm always like, it's like what you said, I mean, it's that perseverance, it's that trial and error. That's the only way you're going to learn and succeed in this.
Well, and get yourself in those groups. I mean, the Ken Reels, the Amy Herbigers, the Michael Lasanis, these people are giving you these like I'm golden nuggets or whatever they're called, just feeding you all kinds of information, but you have to apply what you're learning, you know.
My show.
Yeah,
throw that out.
Yes, your show.
Yep.
It helps you and it keeps you focused. It energizes you, and when you're seeing other people succeeding, if they can do it, so can you. Just don't give up and take notes, lots and lots of notes.
And the whole thing about like luck, like remember the timeless quote: "Luck is preparation meets opportunity." Right. So
absolutely,
it's not because people are lucky that they're successful or they're winning. It's a very determined choice and the ability to see their situation better now than what it is, you know, until they get to that vision.
And then another thing you need to be careful with is comparing, because you see people sharing their numbers, they're doing incredible, but you don't see the 12-hour days that they're putting behind it, the sacrifices that they're making, the things that they're saying no to in order to get there either. So
good point. That's a good point.
And there's no canned way to do it.
No.
Right.
You take bits and pieces. Like you can't look at either Amy or Helen or Michelle or I and just try to replicate exactly what we're doing. It
won't work.
No, you got to take little bits and pieces of strategies and put them together and do what works for you.
Right? Do you guys know? Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, do you guys know Floyd Mayweather, the like champion boxer? Okay, yeah. So I was watching a YouTube video because he has some really good like mindset type of videos. And he said he wasn't trying to be like the next Muhammad, the next, you know, I forget all the other boxer names, but he said, I was just taking bits and pieces of the best of them and putting them together and creating myself, you know, and that's why, because I think he was getting a lot of flack for trying to say like he was the best ever, you know, TBE. And he was like, well, I'm taking from all the best and I'm making that into me. Right. So that, to put that, you know, the way you guys were saying it, take the best.
Totally. And I think that some people could look at it and be like a little bit, initially it could be like frustrating because they're like, oh, just tell me, like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? But it's such a good and strong point. And instead of being frustrated with it, I think that it should be really encouraging to know that there are a lot of people that are doing this business many different ways and succeeding. So you just have to find your way. And yes, you need to continue to get better at things. And, you know, I've seen people that have complained, and I believe I mentioned this before, but I've seen people that, you know, they're complaining about maybe last year and, oh my gosh, well, I have more designs up, but my, you know, sales are lower. Well, sure, there's a couple different, they're like, oh, is merch bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, there's a couple things going on. Sure, there's more competition. But the whole thing is are you still doing the same things that you were doing last year? Because if you're still doing the same things you're doing last year, that's not going to help, because there are people that are hungry and they're out there and they're getting better and they're working on their designs and they're working on their research. And if you're not continuing to do that regularly, then yes, you know what? Next year, you're not going to be doing as good as you are this year because there's stronger competition. But you still are in an awesome game. Just work to improve yourselves, because once you do and you do continue, it's going to be really, really nice at the top for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to evolve. You have to adapt with everything, and you also have to realize too that even when things seem rocky, you are still laying a foundation for your business. The little obstacles that come your way, they're teaching you how to be better, because you're going to figure it out. And when you figure it out, you're in the next level, and you just keep building and building. And before you know it, you've got what do we call this? $1 million empire? It's coming. You just got to keep going.
One shirt at a time.
Yes.
One shirt at a time.
Or pop socket.
Or pop socket.
And it's funny too. We are all different. I mean, if you look at the five of us, the way we talk about the way we approach things. I mean, the five of us merch money women, we are so different, and we all approach our businesses differently. And I think that's a hard thing for the newbies to see. Like there is no cookie cutter way, but the foundation is we all work hard and we all do our research.
And stay consistent.
And I think another thing to keep in mind is where the person is in their entrepreneur journey in general. Because some people start and they immediately succeed, and you're like, well, how did you do it overnight? And it's like, well, they've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. Like you're building, every year you're building yourself up, and you're building mindset and different behaviors and actions and stuff that help in future businesses. So, 10 years from now, I might start a business and succeed faster than I did in this one because I've been an entrepreneur longer. So,
and, realize that your results you're getting right now is a reflection of what you are worth, the value you're bringing to the marketplace. So you can't look at last year's numbers and say, well, shoot, I must really suck because, I was doing better last year. I've got more shirts this year and my sales are down. You have to look at it as what are you giving to the marketplace? If the value isn't there, it doesn't matter if you have 10,000 shirts up or 1,000. If 10,000 shirts are up and none of them are giving value to anybody, nobody wants your stuff, you kind of have to face the music and just realize I need to learn how to either better design, better keyword, or better research. It's really the foundations.
You got to figure out, Amy, what are they going to value?
Yeah.
Your audience.
Definitely. I think that's the biggest thing that trips people up. And like you guys were saying, don't get married to your designs because you think there's this huge market for what you're putting out. And it might be one person in Scranton, Pennsylvania that wants to buy your shirt. But guess what? They can't even find it because you don't know keywords,
Yeah.
So you're screwed. You're never going to sell it.
That was my big takeaway from 2 weeks ago was Brianna. Don't get married to those designs.
That's why, personally, it kind of helps me in that sense that I don't design because I don't get stuck too much. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that was a good idea, but it didn't work out. Oh, well, what's the next one,
They're widgets to me. Everything's a widget. This is a widget. Let's sell this as much as we can. Okay, this widget sucks. On to the next one.
Right.
But I think you're just as passionate about it as Amy, but just totally different directions. So
that's true.
Marvel, she loves the design part, but you love just the business part of it and seeing what you can do and putting all the pieces together. And
I had some skill.
But I love seeing everybody's business growing, and you're doing so awesome, Bree. I love hearing all the D4D stuff. It's so great.
Bree is our lady boss.
Yeah, all over the place. Yeah, D4D is going great. So if you're for newbies, if you're looking for content, where do I start with all this stuff? Just start by getting your hands on as much free good content as you can.
Yeah. It helped me a lot. So for anybody who's new to our show, that's how I met Brianna. I was her customer. So I bought 2,000 designs over the course of last year from VA Rentals, which was her old company. Now she has D4D. But it helped a lot because I knew I didn't know. Sometimes you have to know when you don't know something. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I didn't know something.
Who cares? Absolutely.
Yeah. And it helped a lot because just from uploading those designs, I started to learn I wouldn't have done keywords that way. So it's it kind of showed me another way to do keywords. And then just all the different designs and categories. It was just, I learned just from buying the designs from her. And
That's a huge thing that I never thought of.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of starting point. So now I still haven't even gone the step of hiring a VA because that's still another step where you have to train the person. What I'm doing right now is the in-between. So before I just bought the whole design, keywords, everything. Brianna, just do it. I'll upload it. That's what I was doing. But now I'm working with Printsy. And with Printsy, you still have to tell the designer what to do. So it's fun because I'm learning how to do all the research and finding what I think is going to sell well and then telling the designer. And then it's very rewarding when it sells. So that unicorn one, I did all the research and I was okay, rose gold and unicorn and sparkles. And I found all these words, put it all together. And then that pop socket is doing really well. And so it's nice to kind of evolve and grow and learn. And then eventually I'll do the training and hire VAs and do all that. But, just do one thing at a time.
Another great example of a completely different business model that may or may not work for other people. And I love it because as a scientist and a science background, that's a huge sample size for gathering data.
Mm-hmm.
thousands of designs over a long period of time, and like hearing the story, your backstory about like how you've approached it and gathering feedback and trying to have a better sales rank. Like, it's a fascinating story that it's completely different from each one of our journeys.
Yeah.
Laura said we haven't mentioned cat pinatas yet.
Oh no, we almost went a whole show without it.
I actually almost brought it up when somebody in the chat said that that one of their best-selling shirts still happens to be a Cinco de Mayo shirt. I was gonna ask them if by chance it was a cat pinata.
Helen, we need to make a cat pinata shirt, one of the contests.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so about the contest. So I really, truly thought everyone would have pop sockets right now. So this poor contest has been dragging out. I really want my merch money pop socket. When do you guys think
what about if they design it for something else that would be also applicable to a pop socket?
Yeah.
There you go.
Like a heavy graphic base or something.
Like I'm trying
Can I like buy the design and then put it on my account and print it out?
They could do a t-shirt design, right? And then you could merch resize it.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. No, but then that would still be where I would either be stealing their design or I'd have to buy it.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to sell me the design, I could buy the design and then upload it on my account and do the pop socket.
Or everybody could do a cat.
I'm sure someone would sell it.
We'll see how it goes. I don't think I can drag it out too much longer. Maybe another like week and a half. I don't know. We'll see. I wish they would just like let us know. Like, is this going to be like, is it ever going to be rolled out to everyone? Like, they might start at a certain tier or something. I don't know. I don't know what
just
they're going to do.
Just tell everybody to email Amazon on their own time and see what they say. We'll get like 20 different answers.
Now, doesn't everybody have hoodies? Like, didn't they eventually give it to everybody?
They eventually, but I just don't know. Is it going to be like months from now? Like, I don't want to have a 6-month contest.
Timing too with before coming out. So it's like, are you going to release that and then like freeze it all again?
Here's your pop sockets, freeze.
Yeah.
No, that's basically what they did, except it was in reverse last year. Well, they kind of gave us long sleeves and then freeze, and then sorry about the freeze. Here's your hoodies and sweatshirts.
Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll just add a line in there, like if you don't have pop sockets, just upload the design. If you're willing to have me buy it, like I would just buy the design and put it up on my account. So I don't think anybody would care because it's just a merch money pop socket. It's not like the design that they're gonna want to sell everywhere.
You could just make yourself wait, do they have the private link still on pop sockets? You could.
Yeah, I made one for someone.
You could make yourself a private link on it, so you're not like profiting off of their design.
Yeah, like you wouldn't have a BSR, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so just do the private link and buy it from yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. All right, we'll do that. So then everyone can participate. So. All right. Well, we already hit the hour. Do you guys have last things you want to say? I feel like it flew by. Like, I feel like there's so much more. We didn't even get a chance to ask Amanda.
You want to talk back on the show?
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about your the groups that you're a mod for, or like a little bit? I put all the links in the description, so there's a lot of great groups that Amanda's in.
Sure. Okay. So the first one that I got involved in was the Jersey Empire group, and that was who I had started listening to when I first found out about merch. And it was funny because I was listening. My girlfriend was like, "Oh yeah, listen, they know what they're talking about." I started listening, and John comes in the background. He's like, "What the hell are you listening to?" Sorry if there's things out there. And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." It was totally at the end. I'm like, "Yeah, but you'll listen to this, you'll like it." And as soon as he had said something about being a U of M fan, because that's my husband, we're from Michigan, so he was all about that. And they're like, "Oh, now they're best buds because, they both like U of M." So I had a story. But it was just hilarious because, that personality. So anyways, we connected there. And I went they had an event, I believe it was last September, where I got to meet some other people, which was cool. And so at that point, I think it was pretty close to that point, and they had made us mod or admin, and we were kind of working together on that. And then the next one had been with Amy, and so that was just really cool. It's fun to represent, chicks, and it's that is such a diverse and different two polarizing groups, I guess. Both very positive, both very encouraging. That's what I appreciate. I think that, you know, the people in there, and, you know, the moderators and the admins, and it's just a very positive, even though they have different personalities and one has, you know, a lot of profanity. They're just still encouraging and just really positive and supportive all around. And then I'm actually part of a private label group recently as well. So I'll give a shout out to that. Tim Jordan, somebody that we met last fall, he is doing the private label Legion, and he just started that, and he has an amazing, I mean, that group is amazing, and he gives really, really, like, no BS, straight to the point, just awesome content. So delivers a lot of good content in there as well. So yeah, those are the three that we're a part of, and I think that's good enough. I'm in all of those groups except for the Detroit one, Merch Empire Detroit. Oh yeah. We don't do a ton with that. You know, that was kind of born because I was like, hey, there was people all over the place. They're like, let's do like a little meetup or whatever. Why not? So we had, it was, I don't even remember when it was, a few months back, and it was there was probably like 15 of us there. And so I was like, well, let's just make a group page. We started that way, and then there was a couple other people. There's one in like Texas, a California one, and then the Jersey one. I think that's all there is right now, just to kind of help to group people together when they're going to do meetups. But I know there's people in from all over the place that are in those different groups, but you know, it's not super active.
I really like that because it really makes a difference when you meet in person. Like, I'm sure when you went to that September meetup, like that's probably why you decided to be a mod of the group and like all of that, because it helps a lot. So
your commitment, your belief level, you know, that this is a real thing, and you know, you get more vested in it as well.
You're having a real conversation with another person in front of you. Like, we're having a conversation now, so I feel like it's a similar kind of thing, but it's different when you're just somebody scrolling through the Facebook groups. It's like you're not really talking to the people necessarily. So it's I really want to do that with our group too. So for the units, I bring it up all the time, but we have a unit section on our Facebook group, and one of them, Unit 7, is I listed all 50 states, and you just click which state you are, and then we can kind of
incredibly organized. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, and it's so nice because like I went up to New Jersey and I knew who lived in New Jersey, so it was easy to just be like, "Are you guys coming to the meetup?" Like it made it so much easier. And I'm going on another trip, which I can't say just in case my sister's watching. I had my sister get out of our Facebook group so that I could post the map today of where I'm going. Because it's for her bachelorette party, and she doesn't know. She doesn't know where. So if you're not in our Facebook group, you got to join the Facebook group. But I showed the map and everywhere that I could stop along the way. So if you know, I'll look and see who lives in those states. But if you you know, definitely go in there and check off where you live, because it really is fun if you can get in person and meet the other people in your state. So. But anyway, well, I guess we pretty much should end this show. Is there any last thing you want to say, Amanda?
Oh, I don't know. Well, thank you guys for having me on, and thank you for putting out the content. Like I said, I think that it's extremely important for people to be able to be involved and to hear from all of the different people that are willing to kind of put themselves out there a little bit, because again, I think that it makes you relatable and it makes people understand that you are a real person. Like every single person here has a different background. They have different styles. They have different challenges. And when you guys are sharing your story and sharing your perspective, you are connecting with a lot of different people. And I'm sure you don't even realize that. So, and maybe you do realize it, but I'm sure because you guys get messages, but I think it's far, a lot further than you actually think, because you have like some people that, you know, the quiet lurkers or whatever, and then, you know, out of the blue, I'm sure you guys have gotten it, you know, you get a message and you're like, thank you so much, you know, for XYZ, and you're like, I didn't even know that you were listening or whatever. So I think it's really important for you guys to be able to keep staying encouraged as well, and you know, just pouring into people out there. And again, it's a killer community, so let's just keep going, and we're gonna have an amazing Q4. So I'm glad that you guys got me a little excited about the Q4 too. I mean, you do think about it, but it is a little bit of a distance away. So now you're getting me ramped up. I don't think that I'm gonna be decorating, and I'm not sure about the Christmas music just yet, but I am getting a little bit fired up for sure. So I appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and definitely join the Facebook group. Definitely subscribe. We're very close to 1,000 subscribers. I would love to hit 1,000 tonight. So please subscribe. Yeah, please subscribe if you're watching.
53.
Yeah, it helps a lot. And share it. Just if you think anybody else would want to watch this or subscribe to our channel. We really want to hit 1,000, and we're already planning.
Tear up. That's what you can call it.
Tear up the YouTube account.
Yeah. So thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.